Peter's here. Joe is here. Good. So I'm going to call the Wenham CPC meeting. It is December 15th at 6 p.m. The meeting is virtual. It is being recorded, and all votes will be taken via a roll call. I have not seen Janet come back in. So in attendance, we have Elizabeth Craig McCormick from the Wenham Housing Authority, Dan Curran from the Hamilton Wenham Joint Rec Board, Peter Clay from, folks, can you please mute yourself? Can everyone please mute themselves? Whoever's on the iPhone, please mute yourself. Okay, I guess I have the power. Peter Clay from the Planning Board, Barbara Locke from the Historic District Commission, Tom Starr is our vice chair, he's at large. Patrick Waddell, myself, I chair the committee. I am also at large. Alden Drake has not arrived yet. He is an at-large member. And Janet Burt seemed to be having some troubles connecting, and she was also an at-large member. After we're going to open a public hearing and hear from all of you. I thank everyone for attending. As of right now, we have 35 attendees, including the committee. We'll listen to what the public is interested in. We'll get input from the public. We'll get input from the CPC members. Then we will close the public hearing. And after the close, we will then elect officers for this year. And just so everyone knows, we have not received any applications for annual town meeting 2022 as of yet. Our application deadline is January 6th at 4:30 p.m. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Leo Maestranza here.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Tom Starr seconds. Janet has not made it in. Elizabeth?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Well, yes, as well. So our public hearing is now open. I'm going to open the floor to the general public. If you would like to address the committee, please use the raise your hand function and wait to be recognized, and then you'll unmute yourself. First person I see is Tim Fazio. You could unmute yourself.
Thanks, Pat.
You're welcome.
And thanks to everyone else for conducting this meeting and taking some time. As the committee can see, there's a lot of people in attendance tonight.
Tim, can I just a point of order? I need to read the, I actually have to read the notice before we do this.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. So our notice of a public hearing, the Wenham Community Preservation Committee will conduct a public hearing in accordance with MGL Chapter 44B, Section 5, B1 at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, December 15th, 2021, for the purpose of a public informational hearing on the needs, possibilities, and resources of the town regarding community preservation possibilities and resources. This hearing will be held virtually via Zoom, at which time all interested persons may appear and be heard in relation thereto. The link to the Zoom meeting will be available on the CPC agenda, which can be found in the town's calendar of upcoming events at www.wenham.gov 48 hours prior to the public hearing. Patrick Waddell, Chair, Wenham CPC. Sorry, Tim, right back to you.
No worries. As an attorney, I really like things done the right way, so that's great. Nice work. So hi, everybody. For those who don't know me, my name is Tim Fazio. I am a Wenham resident for probably the past 4 years. have 4 kids in the schools, 1 in high school, 2 in the middle school, and 1 at Winthrop. I'm also lucky enough to have recently been elected as the president of the Hamilton Wenham Little League. And I'm also on what we're referring to as the Field Turf Committee that has been organized to work on the sort of ongoing project of bettering and, in fact, replacing the high school fields that are not in, shall we say, great condition. What the purpose here, and I understand that there's no application pending at this point, but there will be shortly, is to try to just draw everybody's attention to the critical importance of these fields and getting this project going. I am not, there are others on this call who are would like to speak in more detail on different aspects of why the project is so important to our community, to our kids, and just to the sort of betterment of the way that our 2 communities, Hamilton and Wenham, can work together and live together. We have folks here from school administration, from high school sports, from youth sports, parents, and town officials. It is a wide range of people who are very much invested and interested in making this project happen, and in doing the process correctly, in collaboration with the folks on this call, with others interested in Wenham and Hamilton, seeing it through the bumps in the road that are certainly going to happen, but actually at the end of the day, completing a project that we can all be really proud of. So with that, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know there are others that would like to speak, but from a personal standpoint, and on behalf of the Hamilton Wenham Little League, we really appreciate this board's enthusiastic support, and ask for it, please, as this process is ongoing. Thanks, Pat.
I would like to interject for a moment. The CPC funding cannot be used to fund a turf field. So
Barbara,
going in the wrong direction.
Barbara, so I'm going to ask that the members listen to the public. That's what we're here for now, and then we can address.
We're listening to nonsense. That's
No. So
Sure
CPA,
are, Patrick, we sure are. This is nonsense. This funding will never happen under CPC rules, and that should be made clear and firm to everyone who is suggesting that we pay for a turf field. We cannot do it.
Barbara, please. We just had a meeting.
It's a waste of time.
Barbara, please. This is a CPA mandated public hearing. The public is telling us what they're interested in. Please let them speak.
So can we tell what we can and cannot do, Patrick?
So we cannot buy a rug. We cannot buy a rug. The CPA can build the facilities to facilitate a turf field. It cannot buy the actual rug. So, and then we just had this meeting with Stuart Saganor, but please.
Right. And he was pretty clear about what we can and cannot do. So
buy the rug. So the rug on the turf field is about $500,000. Okay. So I'm going to ask again, please, all, Barbara, please, all committee members, we're going to let the public speak. Please let the public speak.
I'm just voicing my concerns. Am I entitled to do that, Patrick?
Not right now, no. You can do that after. So there is time for the committee to speak after the public speaks.
You know, my time is valuable, and I've said that before, and you've told me you have a quorum so I can leave. So maybe that's what I should do.
I'm going to ask, again, people stay muted until they're recognized. And the next up will be Gary Cheeseman.
Good evening, Gary Cheeseman. I've looked at Wenham finances on a townwide basis for several years here. I've been directly involved as on the select board, and I would urge the committee to consider that given our structural deficit and the fact that the CPC money is really the only pot of money left for many purposes in town, that we sort of sit tight and wait for an opportunity that will be a one-time opportunity to use this money, whether it's on open space, affordable housing, or historical. We should wait till that opportunity comes, because we really only have sufficient funds to do one major project, that the operating budget for the town is so tight that there's not funds there. But I see no reason to support the turf field, given that, one, it has not shown up in the superintendent's proposed budget, has not shown up with school committee support. And just recently, from last year, the E&D surplus of some 2.7 million in the school committee has, directed that fund not be go for this purpose, but for others, such as the OEP, OPED. So I would not support the use of these funds for which really, is an operating budget item. The school should take care of the fields. The school committee, the school budget should entire that. And please do not raid this one last, pot of money that the town has set aside for these other very critical purposes of historical preservation, affordable housing, and open space. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Next up, I actually have my wife, Nancy Waddell.
Thank you very much, Nancy Waddell, 5 Great Pond Road in Wenham. Barbara, I think that was, not sure if she's still there. That was really helpful, just as a reminder that there are limitations of CPC funds. And certainly a lot of research has been done to make sure that.
I'm here, Nancy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much,
Keep a
Barbara.
low profile before I blow a gasket again. Sorry.
I appreciate you reminding us of we certainly are working within restrictions. And Mr. Cheeseman, I certainly respect as well your wishes for how money is spent in this district. I'm here tonight as the coach of the girls varsity soccer team. I'm joined by a few of my players, junior captain-elect Chloe Gurn and Nia Fleury, and I believe I have freshman forwards Tessa Hunt and Annie Moynihan with us. And we're all here really just to share our hope that when this money is allocated, that our field conditions are considered. This fall, our team won a state championship, despite playing 3 of our last 4 games on rented turf fields at Gordon College and at St. John's Prep. We rented the fields. We're unable to play at the high school stadium due to poor field conditions and safety concerns. Even the best grounds crew could not have prevented our need to play at alternate sites. I had an absolutely amazing soccer team, and we had earned home field advantage, and we lost that because of our field conditions. As many in town work to bring a turf proposal before you, please reach out to learn more about how we are impacted by our poor field conditions this fall. It is a dire need in this town, and I know we have many of them, but it is right up there at the top. So many of us are here tonight to make sure that people are aware of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy. Next, we have Joe Marr.
Hello, everyone. Again, thank you for letting us speak, Patrick. Appreciate the opportunity. My name is Joe Marr. I actually grew up here in Hamilton and in Wenham, so I've been a resident in the two towns for 45 years. I've been a teacher at the school for 25 years, and I've been able to coach the boys tennis team for 23 years, and now I'm coaching the girls tennis team for the past 2. I'm joined here today by tennis players Chloe Gurn, Sophia Montoya, and Ali Benchoff. So thank you, ladies, for joining us. So my perspective is about tennis facilities at the school. So not a turf field in general, but it goes hand in hand with that project. We have not had functioning home tennis courts for Hamilton Wenham High School over the past 4 years. We used to play at Pingree Park. Those courts have been deemed unplayable. Patton Park only has 3 courts, and even though they have been beautifully resurfaced, the fence is too close to the court to make it a high school playing area. So over the past 4 years, we haven't had a home. And to put this in perspective, we have 70 kids that played high school tennis last year. Let me say that again. 70 kids played high school tennis. That's 15% of our school population played high school tennis with no courts. All right. So that was 5 different teams that we field with no courts. And I give Craig Genualdo a lot of credit for, finding us ways to find courts. Last year, we played at Danvers High School, Gordon College, Wenham Tea House, Manchester Athletic Club, Bass River, Myopia, Ipswich Country Club, Patton Park, Ipswich High School, and Triton High School. All right. We are the only team in the Cape Ann League that doesn't have tennis courts. And we are one of 2 teams that don't have tennis courts at the high school. So if you can think of 15% of the school population having to, drive around to find courts, to not be able to play on campus, to not have the safety of a trainer on campus, to not have the ability to have a locker room to use a bathroom on campus. And transportation is another huge issue. So I'm speaking for the boys and the girls. This is a really immediate need for us. We've been traveling all over the place for the past 4 years now. It's been tough on parents to drive. It's been tough on other students. We've had to rent courts, which have cost us quite a bit of money. And we've had to get buses, which have, to transport kids to faraway places for actual home matches, which has been a tough thing. So I'm very hopeful that when the time comes and a project is presented, that you would consider this, because tennis courts right now, as well as the other things that the project entails, are a big need and big for our students. And it really reflects on our town. I can't tell you how people are shocked when we don't have usable tennis courts for our high school program when they come to our town. And for me, it's been, being a coach for so long, it's been a little bit embarrassing not to be able to say, this is our home courts, this is where we play. Instead, I show up at Ipswich High School and say, yeah, this is where we're playing our home courts, where, Ipswich is letting us play here today. So, it's a little bit point of community pride for someone who's been a resident for 45 years to be able to be proud of a facility that we can have right on our school campus. So I thank you for your time, and I hope in the future, when this project comes to head, that possibly CPC funding can be used. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next up, we have Alex Chapetis.
Hey, Pat, thank you. And thanks to everyone on the board for their service. My name is Alex Chapetis, live at 18 Morgan Street. I have 2 daughters, both at the middle school right now, 8th grade and 6th grade. And I also serve on the soccer board. I'm also on the, I think the abbreviated term of the turf committee. And I think I just want to really kind of frame the intent of kind of why we're all gathered here. And really what it is like, we want to raise awareness, we want to explore options, and we want to put this on the CPC's radar as something that's important to a lot of people in the town. I think it's a little early to say what we do support and what we don't support. I think one of the obligations of the turf committee, one of the things that we are going to be collaborating to work towards is an actionable plan that we can sort of put forward. And in order to really kind of realize that plan, I think we need to be both open-minded and creative, given the, as Gary pointed out, the limited resources of the towns and the many needs. And, we have, finite revenue given, our, all the things at play. The school has many needs, the town has many needs. I guess what I'm saying is like, I think that we should come to this really from the perspective of, hey, this is also a material need in the town. And what we need to do is really take a step back, evaluate it objectively, and evaluate it in the context of other needs to figure out how we prioritize the resources at our disposal. The CPC funds are resources at our disposal, and how we deploy them is something that we can, message and communicate and work together and vote upon, like, as a town and as a community, based upon how they compete with other things that we kind of have in flight. And what we need to try to figure out how to do is, how do we make $1 out of 15 cents, and what are all the different things we can bring to bear to solve all the town's needs. And I think we do that through listening to one another, through collaboration, through creativity, and through open-mindedness. And I think that's kind of what we're here to do tonight, is really kind of start that dialogue to convey, the importance that this has for many of the people who reside in the town, and also for, our reputation, as a sports program and as a high school here in the Cape Ann region. So, it is an important thing. I don't think it's something we should dismiss, at the onset. And again, what we want to do is understand how this fits into the mix of things we're trying to get done, and what resources we have, what can be brought to bear, and what can we achieve with what we have at our disposal. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks, Alex. Next up, we have Lee Mason.
Hi, sorry. My name is Lee Mason. Thank you all for your time. I am the head field hockey coach at Hamilton Wenham High School. This is my third year as the head coach, and I brought today with me my 4 seniors, rising captains, Allie Benchoff, Sophia Montoya, Marley Flanagan, and Maeve Clark. And I'm just going to echo Nancy and Joe's points, but also add that we also play off campus. We practice at the library field, the Fairhaven field. Transportation safety is an issue for us. We don't have a trainer or a locker room on our field. And the sport itself is really designed to be on a surface that's smooth, and the grass really is difficult to play a high quality skilled game. We have 80% of our games are played on turf. Again, our last couple games we've had to rent out and play at Gordon because of the field conditions. We've had games be canceled last minute due to weather. So just in terms of the experience and just overall positive quality of the field hockey program, it would be nice to have a field for the girls. But thank you again for your time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Brian Mannigoni.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brian Mannigoni. I'm the high school principal. I'm also a Wenham resident with 2 students in the school system, an 11th grader who was a member of Nancy's soccer team, and also an 8th grader. I want to thank Lee, Nancy, and Joe for presenting their perspectives tonight on their particular sports. And I would really just want to highlight that again, what is the impact of our current field situation on the experience of our student athletes, but also in how we present our programs. I have some concerns currently with the safety of our student athletes on the fields that we do have at the high school. And also thinking ahead about how we're attracting students to stay at the high school, retaining them once they are there, because I think the facility is a big draw. And I think we have a good opportunity here to change what the facility looks like. And I think that can have a big impact upon keeping kids in the system. And finally, overall, I think this is an opportunity to put something together that everybody in the community, both towns, can be proud of, because certainly this is a facility that kids may start using when they're 4 or 5 years old, all the way up to 18 years old. So I think that there's a chance here to achieve a big impact, and certainly we'll have to think about ways to do it. And that's really where the hard discussion is. But I'd like the community to really consider this as a chance to pull together and do something meaningful, really for everybody in both towns. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Is there any other member of the public that would like to speak? Susan, I see your hand raised. Go ahead. Susan Balin.
I think because this is a part of the school program, it should be under the school budget, put forth by the school committee and treated as such. I also think while this particular meeting looks like everybody in Hamilton or Wenham has a child or has interest in this project, by its very nature, it's exclusionary, in that now you're taking the school population and now you're taking the generally, I would think, middle and high school population, then you're winnowing that down to students who are interested in field sports, and that certainly is not everyone. It's not a project that the general public will be able to use. Granted, it would be nice to say we have this. Am I ever going to walk on it? No. I don't know, I'm just looking around my neighborhood here and I'm seeing a whole bunch of houses that people won't be using it. And so I think that the funds need to be saved for things that are more inclusive of people in the town. And that can be a park, that can be all kinds of things. This is very specific. The other thing is, I think that now I'm hearing, okay, tennis courts involved with this. I'm hearing the term rug. I do know something about site development and site work, and I know that the vagaries of that. And I'm not hearing, before anybody can consider this, what we need to know is what the entire budget would be, all pieces in, including seating, if there is such, lighting, if there is such, and also the usable, what's the replacement time for all of this stuff. And I think that people would be shocked at how expensive it is. And I know that Wenham at this point cannot afford it. Being that we have the highest tax rate in Essex County at $19.68. That's the end of my little speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
That was awesome.
I have Mimo up next, please.
Hi, Eric Memo, 3 Beach Street. Just hearing through the conversation, just out of curiosity, I know it was mentioned that the CPC funds could not be used to fund a turf. Under the guidelines of the CPC funds, could you just explain to us what could be used and utilized if it were to come to that, just so we all understand?
I would be happy to. I would ask that we wait until after the public comment period is over, and then the CPC can opine on that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Please use the raised hand function. That's the only way I can really see you. All right, I don't see any more hands raised. We welcome you to stay and participate. Raise your hand anytime you want to speak. So we'll go to the committee input, and I will just say that we just had a meeting with Stuart Saganor of the Community Preservation Coalition. They're kind of the CPA gurus. So CPA funds have been used throughout the Commonwealth to build turf fields. The funds can't be used to buy the final coating, the final rug, what you see, the green surface. So that is outside what the funds can be used for. But there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built, a lot of substructure that is most of the cost of installing a turf field. CPA funds are eligible to be used for this. There was a lawsuit up in North Andover where it went down and said you can't buy the rug and some of the substrata as well, but that is not settled case law at this moment. So as of right now, the funds cannot be used for just the top layer. And typically for a stadium field, you're talking about $500,000, roughly $500,000 for that final turf layer. I'm just going to go back to Eric Memo for a second. Is hand raised?
So just from what you're describing, I understand no CPC funds can be used for the final layer. However, if the school or other assets were made available to pay for that final layer, CPC funds could be used to help with the remainder of the project, correct?
That is correct. We also have an enterprise in Hamilton, the Institution for Savings, and I'm not going to speak for them, but in their financials, they do show that they tend to buy the naming rights for stadiums for $600,000, and that $600,000 could be used for the actual rug. And that every one of their communities where they have a branch that has built a turf field and they've been allowed to buy the naming rights, they fund to the tune of $600,000. There is an application process and everything, but those funds are typically available to towns that have a branch.
I have a comment.
Sure.
I thought we were listening to public input and not inquiries or opinions from those that exist on this commission. I think we need to shut that down, Patrick.
So Barbara, we heard from everyone who had raised their hand. And then I said, we're going to move to committee members. And there was a question asked on what CPA funds could be used for with regard to a turf field. This came from our meeting with Stuart Saganor earlier this month on December 6th.
I watched that and he basically shut the whole thing down. So I think you're not being fair and square. But whatever, I think the whole issue is with the Community Preservation Commission is that we are not a singular commission. We have other responsibilities. And just think that we could spend $500,000 on a school project, which, as our selectman Gary Cheeseman so eloquently stated, should be up to the school committee to figure out, is outrageous. School fields, playing fields, when we have so many more pressing issues, Patrick. Come on, you know what they are. I don't need to get into it. It's more important than playing soccer. I get it. If you got a kid who's in high school and younger, that's the only thing you care about. But Jesus, I goddamn care about the person who is living in this community who can't afford to live here anymore. And people who think they have more persuasion can tell us how our CPC dollars should be spent. that is a focus I am completely on. Good night.
Peter, I see that you have your hand raised.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of wondering about the nature of this discussion. So I think we've heard from the public. And then we go and have our regular meeting. Is that right?
Well, so we have a public hearing, which is still open.
Right.
We heard from the public, and then there's input from the committee as well. And that's where we are right now. And when we're done there, we will close the public hearing and then move to our regular hearing, our regular meeting.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Leo, I see your hand.
Nope, Susan has something to say.
Yes.
If I may,
Go ahead, Susan.
Mr. Waddell, I think you're doing a really good job. However, I think that you have such a vested interest in this particular project between your wife being the soccer coach. And by the way, it was like the highlight of my fall that those girls won that championship. I think it was great. But I think you have such a vested interest that it could be called into question whether or not you are being level-handed in this regard.
I do believe that a turf field is in the best interest of our community. Our fields, our stadium field especially, the condition is abysmal. So there are many ways that we could pay for it. I'm not saying let's pay for it right now, but the CPA funds aren't on the tax rate. Everyone's saying, put it through the school budget.
No, but it doesn't matter if it's on the tax rate. It's still hitting people's pockets. What I'm saying is you and your wife have heavily invested in this particular project. And yet you're sitting there and I think you're doing a good job, but you're acting as a moderator in a sense during this meeting. And I think that it could be viewed that you were biased in one direction. And I think you're treading on dangerous turf, so to speak.
Susan, completely agree. They are biased. All they care about are fields, playing fields. They don't care about public housing. They don't care about affordable space. They don't care about anything. They just care about the goddamn playing fields. I'm sorry to be so aggravated about it, but it's a reality and I'm sick and tired of it. Let's get to the reality of it, Patrick Waddell. You only care about playing fields and you still hold a grudge about the Billy Flynn whole golf course catastrophe in your mind. Sorry. Sports are
Can I jump in, please? I'm going to jump in for just a second. Okay.
Yeah,
so how many people are on the CPC?
9.
Right. And so we vote. So all 9 members have to vote up or down on the various things that we're going to spend on, right?
Yes.
Right. So even if we decide, Barbara, that Patrick is completely biased, it doesn't matter because there are 8 other people that are hopefully not biased. And I don't think it's really fair for Susan and Barbara to basically publicly attack Patrick.
I'm not attacking Patrick.
Peter,
I'm not
you
attacking
sure are.
I said he was doing a good job.
Going on for a long time.
Can I just interject for 1 second? The CPC spends no money. We do not have the authority to spend a dime. Actually, $8,500 in our administrative budget. That's it. All we do is we take applications, review them, and just determine whether or not they're going to make it to town meeting, the amounts, but we're not spending any money. So we don't allocate funds. We just determine if an application is worthy to be presented to town meeting and the amount that we think it should be presented at. So,
Okay,
and
may
just-
I just say something? I have to
Sure.
say this, all right? David Reed is now on FinCom. It is expected when the town clerk's budget is voted upon, David will recuse himself because he has a vested interest. Certainly you would expect that, would you not? And I'm not saying that your members can't vote. However, you at this point, and I think that you're doing a good job. I'm not saying you're not, but at this point in time, you are controlling this meeting and you are controlling what your members hear. And you're particularly controlling it because you're sitting now at this electronic piano and letting somebody speak or somebody not speak. And what I'm saying is it could be called into question. I'm not saying that I think you've done a great job. I don't agree with the other lady's statement that that's all you care about, because I think you've done really, really good things for the town. And you've taken on a lot of fights and it's much appreciated. I'm just saying in this particular situation, you may want to be careful.
So just to be clear, there will be no turf application this year. And this is my final year on the CPC. I am term limited out after this year. So I will not be voting on a turf field. I am there is no financial impact to my family, whether we play on turf or grass or dirt. There is no financial impact. And that's how the state
Angela,
looks at a conflict of interest. So I stand to gain no monetary value from a turf field. But anyway, I have, and as far as controlling the dialogue, everyone who has raised their hand has been given us a chance to speak, and we're about to go through. We have another round of people raising their hands. Leo, use a raise hand function. That's how I'm tracking how people are.
Yeah, I was recognized about 18 minutes ago.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Leo.
I just have 2 or 3 minutes. Before this, the CPA was voted in Wenham, I lobbied for it. I knocked on doors. Not dozens, but scores of doors I knocked on. And I begged people to please vote yes on joining the CPA and join at 3%. Because I knew it would bring money to the town. And it did. For the first 5 years, it brought 100%. The last few years, it hasn't brought nearly that much. And there's been times when I've thought of lobbying to get rid of it. However, what I'd like to say is, when I lobbied, they said, what's it going to bring us? And I says, open space. Oh, open space, they said, that's a good idea, because that will keep some of that open space that we have open. Because when that open space gets developed with this cookie cutter houses, it impacts the trash budget adversely. It impacts the public works budget for plowing and road maintenance adversely. It impacts the school budget adversely. So we got it through with an overwhelming majority at 3%. So it did add 3% to our taxes. And when it was $14, when I first lobbied for it, wasn't quite so bad as it is now at $20. Well, I've been on the committee for quite a while because I've been interested in open space projects. Well, we haven't had any open space projects brought before us. We've had scores of historical projects. We've had scores of recreation projects. I voted in favor of playgrounds at the Winthrop School, at the Buca School, at Patton Park, the soccer fields, multiple soccer fields at the Iron Rail. I voted in favor of the sidewalks. I voted in favor of the pool, which I found out not a great percentage of the town uses. What I'm getting at is, to date, we haven't spent a dime on open space. We haven't spent a flimsy dime on open space. So if you're going to ask me to be in favor of spending a good chunk of our money for a turf field that's going to cost even more than the pool cost us, I feel like I'm letting those people that I talk to down. And that would be a slap in the face. And Patrick, I want to correct you. It is tax money. 3% of the tax. Somebody who pays $10,000, 3% of that goes to the CPA. Somebody who spends $20,000, CPA. And there's people that spend more than that, and they spend $1,000 or $2,000 that goes to the CPA. And instead of getting open space that would inhibit projects that would adversely impact our budget, we've been spending it on projects that don't that don't help our budget. Now, the school budget is the biggest item on our expenses. It's the biggest item on our expenses. And they have the majority of the money that we pay in taxes.
85.
They also have the education fund that they have access to. Now, I feel that we've given enough money for recreation now, and I want to save it, what we have left, for open space. So that's where I feel. And what Alex said too, you know, I don't believe that you have a conflict of interest, Patrick, but somebody packed the hall and is sure the appearance, you know. Anyway, thank you.
Okay. I just want to clarify. Hold on.
God bless you.
The chair has the floor. Hold on a second, please.
Sorry.
So we heard about matches.
These comments. Sorry.
We just heard about matches. And I just wanted to say that this year, in the local surcharge, we raised $450,000. That's from Wenham taxpayers. And the state match we got was $359,000. We got a 79.7% match.
Unbelievable. Huge. Yay, Wenham.
Barbara, please.
Just saying, it's a huge match. Can you?
It is.
Please, Patrick, let's use it for open space.
And as far as not one dime being spent in open space, we did fund the open space and rec plan through the open space and rec committee. And when I talk about it, the CPA not hitting the tax rate, it's the tax rate I'm talking about. It's not tax dollars. So we have a hard cap in Massachusetts at 2.5%. At 2.5% of your property value, that's a maximum amount that you can tax without debt exclusions and other things. Right now, our projected FY '22 budget, our tax rate was 2.05%. So we don't have a lot of room left in our tax rate before we mandated cutting by the state. But so anyway, I have some more hands raised. I have Eric Mimo again.
I just want to say thank you for the funding that was all described and what the CPAs put in. Regarding open space, from what it sounds like, a lot of CPA money was used to improve open spaces, not really fortify new open spaces, which I understand may be the discussion here, but it did improve a lot of open spaces throughout the town. And same thing with the turf field. It is another open space that is in disarray that will be improved by the town. And I understand there's a lot of people in this committee that are past the age of children, and I understand that. I'm a new homeowner. I've been in this town 5 years. Again, I'm on the other end of the perspective. I'm the new people moving in that move into this town for the school system, for everything this town provides for the school budget. So I'm on that end of the spectrum, and I can realize the conversation has gone that way with most of the viewers here that are on that end of the spectrum. And I understand the resistance on the other end of the spectrum.
I just have to say,
I don't appreciate being interrupted, and you've done it quite a bit during this meeting, and it's very unprofessional. I don't know if this is your first Zoom meeting, but you should really respect the way a meeting goes and allow someone to speak before you just keep abruptly interrupting everybody, including members of your own board. So I really don't know who you are, but you're very disrespectful. I just want to make that clear. But if you want to talk again, the floor is yours.
Well, let's give Barbara give her a moment. Barbara, go ahead. Back to Leo.
A correction for Mr. Memo. The only money we've spent on open space was to spend money to design an open space plan. In the 10 years that we've been in the CPA, that's the first money we spent on it, and it's only recently. But now that we've spent on it and we have an open space plan, please let's not squander the money that we finally are able to probably use on something else, because we've been spending on affordable housing, we've been spending on recreation, we've been spending on historical, which are all worthy causes, okay? But open space is what the people who voted for this thing 10 years ago
more than
convinced to do. So please, let's not let them down. Let's for a project like this, let's go to the Hamilton Wenham Education Fund, or go to the town meeting and increase the tax rate, but not, let's save some open space money.
All right. Thank you, Leo. Back to Barbara.
the biggest problem, don't unmute me. You asked me to speak. Okay, you want me to be quiet?
Barbara, I'm saying the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm trying to address Leo's issue, which is ongoing since I have been on the CPC for the past 10 years, right, Leo? I understand your primary concern, and I get it, and you're right. It is an issue that this committee needs to focus on, and it hasn't. And our focus on the public schools and all of their issues are wrong. That's not what the CPC was meant to do. Hamilton Wenham has a primary problem in funding its public schools. It's nothing new. My husband went to Hamilton Wenham Regional High School. My children did. I get it. I understand its limitations. It's problematic, but it's not up to the CPC to solve those problems. Certainly not a turf field. And I think our perpetual focus on playing fields is wrong-headed. I think we need to focus on the bigger problems that are the central tenets. And I'm not going to outline them because you know exactly what they are, Patrick, what our responsibilities are. It's not playing fields. Playing fields aren't our problem. The playing fields are the school's problem, not the CPC's problem.
All right, do we have anyone else who would like to comment during public hearing? See no hands. I would like to thank everyone for, I have an iPhone who would like to speak. iPhone, go
Hi,
ahead.
Patrick. Can you hear me now? I'm on a phone. I don't have the liberty of the video, but can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Who are you?
Patrick, this is Lou Levesque, and I just wanted to chime in, and I'll be brief because I know you want to get on to the next portion of the meeting, but I think that one of the words that stuck out to me from two separate people was, Alex had called for open-mindedness, and though the funds may be, in some people's opinion, better allocated elsewhere, I don't think that this project in its entirety is being put on this board. I think that this project, to key on another word, is not exclusionary. This is not just about school-aged children. This involves our youth sports, which literally is the entire spectrum. It's not middle school. It's not high school solely. It is kids from 2 to 40 playing on these fields. They'll be used in a variety of ways and not just by the middle school or the high school. And I think that Alex infusing the word open-mindedness as this board, along with others in town, should all be perhaps pooling efforts, resources, focus, and again, open-mindedness on this project. Though it may not affect everybody in town, it will affect a strong portion of the town. And just like I might be part of the sector who will enjoy those fields, I am not enjoying other successes of this board. And I don't think that you should take the fact that I may not use other open spaces or enjoy other things that you've created. That to me does not preclude you from pursuing them just because it is not universally used. And I think that exclusionary is the wrong word. It may not be everyone, but it is broad. And I think that it's a town issue. And I think that this board should share in the process. And open-mindedness, Alex, again, can't we at least just start with that? It's day one.
Thanks, Lou.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we've been on this for an hour, and I would like to move that we close the public part of the hearing and go to the CPA meeting.
Guys, I
Second.
I would like to make sure we don't have any, so this is a CPA mandated meeting, and I don't want to shut anyone out who would like to speak. Is there any other member of the public who would like to raise their hand and speak? I'm seeing none, so we will now take a roll call vote to close the public hearing. Janet?
Yay.
Elizabeth?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I haven't seen Alden. Barbara?
Sure.
Tom?
Yes.
Patrick Waddell, yes as well. So the public
How about
hearing
Leo?
is now closed. I want to thank you all for coming, and you're more than welcome. This is an open meeting, so feel free to stay, please. We have another few minutes of business, but I want to thank you all for coming. I saw a high count of 45 people. That's a first for me. We've held these meetings every year for 8 years that I've been here, and I've never seen more than 1 or 2 people outside of 10. So thank you very, very much.
Mr. Chairman, you didn't get me on the roll call.
I did. Oh, Leo, I'm sorry. Are you voting for adjournment of the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, I'm very sorry. So we're going to go to our the regular agenda. So I sent out 3 sets of minutes. So March 30th, 2021, May 20th, 2021, and November 17th, 2021. At one of these meetings, we did not achieve quorum. That was the joint meeting with Hamilton CPC, which was the May 20th meeting. So I do have one edit on the November 17th minutes. At the very end, it scheduled the annual public hearing. It says at 7 o'clock. It was actually at 6 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move we vote to accept the November 17th meetings as revised, and also the March 30th meeting as written. I wasn't at the May 20th meeting, so I'd like you to accept a motion on the 2 that I mentioned.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. And Leo,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Barbara,
Sure.
Peter,
Yes.
Dan,
I'll be abstaining as I was not a member at the time.
okay, Elizabeth,
Yes.
Janet,
Sorry, yes.
excellent, and Patrick, yes, as well. So those are accepted. Would anyone like to move to accept the minutes of May 20th?
I move to accept the minutes.
A second?
I'll second.
Excellent. And Janet,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Dan, I'm assuming you're going to abstain since you weren't here.
Correct.
Peter,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yippee.
that is a yes.
Yes, it's a yes in certain vernacular.
Tom,
I'm abstaining. I wasn't present.
I don't know why
Okay.
we're doing a roll call on something like this, but whatever.
Leo,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Okay. Now let's go to election of officers. Would anyone like to, so I believe we should have a chair, a vice chair, and a clerk, someone to interface with Catherine Tinsley, just to have a first reading of the minutes. Would anyone like to make a nomination for chair?
Coffee.
Again, would anyone like to make a nomination for chair?
Who do we have on the committee, Mr. Chairman?
We have Janet Burt, Elizabeth Craig McCormick, Dan Curran, Peter Clay, Alden Drake, Barbara Locke, Tom Starr, Leo Mastronzi, and Patrick Waddell.
I'd nominate Peter if he would accept it.
Oh, brother. I'm really terrible at this type of stuff.
All you have to do, Peter, is tell people to shut up when they talk too much. Just get you get a hammer. You know what a gavel is? We'll get a sledgehammer.
You are priceless.
So one of the great mismatches of all time, when I got out of college, I went into Raytheon in their contracts management development program. And I quickly learned that I was the worst possible person to be reading boilerplate legal documents and the like. And I mean, I was horrible. I'm sort of a big picture marketing guy, and I don't think I'm going to do the CPC well.
Peter, we let the coordinator read those documents. Am I right, Patrick?
Peter, do you know how to herd cats? That's all you gotta do.
Do we have a coordinator here this evening?
We don't have a coordinator at this point.
I see. Is Margaret coming back?
If Margaret's on, she's on board.
Margaret's trying to get us to get through our meeting so she can open the ZBA meeting.
I hate to rush you. I actually have a conflict with another meeting. I'm trying to get yours to end so I can open the ZBA meeting. We didn't realize you can't do 2 meetings at once on Zoom, so, but thank you.
So the only comment I would make to you, Barbara, yeah, I can herd cats, but you're really not going to like my style.
It's fine
Doubt
with
it.
me.
I really doubt it.
That's fine with me.
Right. You gotta do what's good for you. Right, Leo?
Second the nomination, Barbara.
I'm good for it.
All right, I'll do it. What the hell? But I'm telling you, Barbara.
You'll be fine.
Crap, Peter? I'm up for it.
My first boss told me that my hammer approach wasn't really well accepted.
Okay.
Take a vote, Mr. Chairman.
I can handle that, I think.
Do we have any other nominations?
I would nominate Patrick Waddell for a second term if that's acceptable to him and to the bylaws.
It is to the bylaws and it is to me as well.
Yay. Awesome. I think you're doing a fabulous job.
I thought you'd like that, Peter.
Not with all the bricks being thrown at you.
Patrick, are you an at-large member?
I am an at-large member.
You served 2 terms?
Yes, this is my final year.
Yeah, you're with us through the year.
Yes.
Yeah, this could be his final year, but it would only be his second as chair. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Right.
Do we have any other nominations? Okay, so we have Peter. Self. We're going to do a roll call vote. So when I call your name, please let me know who you select. Janet.
Patrick.
Elizabeth.
Patrick.
Dan.
Patrick.
Peter.
Geez, I'm getting wiped out here.
Peter, why don't you hold on? You'll be last. You and I will go last. Barbara.
Peter, what the heck? Let's go for the underdog.
Tom.
Patrick, sorry.
Leo.
Peter.
Peter.
Patrick.
Oh.
I'm going to vote for myself as well, although I truly appreciate you, Peter. So I
I'd like to
am
nominate, I'd like to nominate Peter for vice chairman.
Second.
That's a good one.
Hey, we have a second. Is there any other nominations for vice chair? Hearing none. Leo,
Patrick,
Yes.
excuse me, if there's no, if there's no,
Yes,
if
Well,
there's no
hold on one sec.
opposition, if there's no opposition, then Peter just accepts or declines.
okay, Peter, do you accept or decline?
I accept. Look forward to working with you, Patrick.
Looking forward to it.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, there should be a vote.
Whoa.
At least 5.
Well, as Catherine says, he's running unopposed, so one vote would carry.
Can I vote for myself?
You can.
Of course.
I'll vote
There
for
we
you
go.
too.
Leo, you okay with that?
We have 2, that makes 2.
We can do a roll call vote, but
Barbara,
I do trust Catherine that she knows the law on this.
we could have done it,
Let's do-
we could have done it by now, Mr.
I
Chairman.
know. So Janet,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Dan,
Yep.
Barbara,
Go, Peter. That's a
Tom,
yes.
thank you, Tom,
Yes.
Leo,
Yes,
I'm a yes as well. Peter.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
unanimous, perfect. Do we want to have a clerk? Maybe the vice chair can just take the clerk. The clerk basically would just read the minutes and give any feedback to Catherine before they get disseminated to the chair and the whole group.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, so we'll just take that. Staff update. I don't have an update. I don't know what our balances are. I've asked repeatedly. I will continue to ask for those balances. I don't know what they are. So just so we can get through quickly, schedule our next meeting. So our deadline on applications is January 6th. I don't see a reason to meet before those come in, unless anyone else thinks there's a reason for us to meet before that.
I don't.
So
Okay.
we will be given the applications before January 6th.
The applications are due to town hall January 6th by 4:30. And
Okay.
there'll be one hard copy, and then soft copies will be distributed to the committee as soon as they're available.
Okay, so we meet after that.
After the 6th, yes.
Okay, just
So-
clarify.
I believe that next week, the 10th through the 14th, would be a good week to meet. It would not be school vacation. So is there a day that is better for all and better for the town calendar? Do Wednesdays work for people?
Patrick, Wednesday, you're full up, I think. You have Town Government Study Committee on January 12th.
Oh,
Monday's Conservation Commission.
Tuesday appears to be open.
Tuesday, the 11th?
Works for me.
Tuesday, the 11th.
You sure that's not Selectmen the second Tuesday?
Not at this time. They've scheduled the 1st and 3rd.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I won't be available, but don't let that hold us back.
So what time
Thank you,
will we meet? 6?
We usually meet at 7.
Yeah.
Does that work?
6 is better.
6 is
Six.
better?
Better.
6 is better.
It's better. I liked it tonight, but I can't do it on Tuesdays in January. Or,
So let's pick a
I mean,
different
I could
day.
do, well, actually, let me back up. I could do that Tuesday, but that would be the only one. At 6.
So we'll do them one at a time.
Okay.
So January 11th at 6 p.m.?
Yep.
Okay.
That works. Okay, I'll get an agenda together. There, we'll meet and we'll start to set up the dates for our hearings. And we'll have a compressed time frame because I believe the warrant closes on February 4th. So those next couple weeks in January will be very important.
I'll be tight.
Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, supposing there's no applications, will we still meet?
We know there's one application, right?
We do? What's
We
that?
absolutely do. We know that the application, 120,000 for town hall debt. Yes, we know that's coming.
Oh, exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. That's exactly right.
So January 11th, 6 p.m., that'll be our next meeting. Is there anything anyone would want to see on our next agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
Is there a second? Okay, I have a second. Janet,
Yes. Second. Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes, please.
Barbara,
Bonsoir.
Tom,
Yes.
Leo.
Yes.
Patrick,
Merry
yes as
Christmas to
well.
all of you, and Happy New Year, good holidays.
You too, Leo.
Same to you, Leo.
Great holidays.
Thank you.
all for coming. Thank
Sure,
you,
Mr.
public, for coming. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Patrick, do you want me to reclaim host and end the meeting?
Oh yeah, let me, hold on one second. Do I have to give it to you?
No, I can reclaim.
It's all yours.
Yep. So I'm all set. All right. Thank you so much. Sorry, I was rushing you.
I'm sorry, Margaret, sorry.
Good meeting.
Unexpected.
All right. Good night.
Bye. Night.